All right, good morning, Eagle fans. Because if you're an Eagles fan, well, then it is a good morning. We are just making moves all off season. Everywhere you look, the Eagles is making changes, whether it's through via trade, signing people, or retaining the players that they have, or releasing them, as we just seen with Brent Selleck, who I'm my absolute fan favorite of. I I didn't like his production towards the late end of it, but that's more so as a fan. But I understood more so what he contributed to the locker room as far as leadership goes. So I never took advantage any part of his career because at every part of his career he was of great value to the Eagles, especially the first year that Zach Ertz was there. He was a mentor, and he taught Zach Ertz a lot of things as to how to be a multifaceted tight end in this NFL league. So I do not take for granted anything Brent Sutter brought to the Eagles from the time he got here to the end. Um, Also, I want to keep in mind that the Eagles have also signed linebacker, former Denver Bronco linebacker Corey Nelson, who is, from what I'm hearing, is a very skilled. I mean, I saw a little bit of tape, but from the people that played with him and played against him, they have spoken about him in great light. Some of his coaches have said that, and if you look back on some of the Denver Broncos, what is it, OTA interviews, you can look at it on their website. You could just look at their OTA videos or whatever. So anyway, the whole point is they were saying how he has great cover skills. He's quick, which if they don't sign Nigel Bradham back, which I doubt they will because Corey Nelson is was a signing that they brought him here to start. He has championship experience because he won the championship with the Denver Broncos, but also he has great cover skills which will be needed if we ever even see most of the teams that we play in the NFC. Also, not just the NFC but the Patriots as well. I mean, most of the league has revolved around the running backs being able to run outside of the backfield and be able to catch passes. So when you look at a linebacker that is very skilled at that, solid tackler, consistent, you know what you bring and you know what he's bringing to the table. So him being able to be brought in is a great addition. Because you look at the Arizona Cardinals with David Johnson, you look at the Steelers with Le'Veon Bell, you look at the Saints with Alvin Kamara, you look at the Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott. If the Giants go and get either the Giants or the Cleveland Browns, whoever Saquon Barkley goes to, that's a pass catcher out of the backfield as well. Um, Joe Mixon is a pass catcher out of the backfield, very skilled, very complete back. Period. People forgot about him. Bengals have definitely made him their back going forward because I believe that Jeremy Hill is on free agency. So, but anyway, back to the Eagles. Uh, who else did they sign? Michael Bennett earlier, and earlier they signed him, which is many people think that because he's 33 that he won't be able to contribute to the Eagles. But if you're thinking like that, you're still thinking in the mindset of a traditional 4-3 line and him coming off the edge 60, 70. I mean, not 60, 70, but playing. Well, sometimes the defensive end will play 60, 70 snaps. So, but most of the time, you wouldn't want any player to play that many snaps. I mean, you would only expect your quarterback to play that many snaps. But that's a lot of snaps for a defensive end. But at 33, he would never be able to do anything like that. And in this system that the Eagles played, even in the last game during the Super Bowl, that 9-man front where you got at least 9 people that's coming out of there ready to come off the line and keeping Chris Long. Vinny Curry is still on the team as of now. Fletcher Cox, Tim Jernigan. I'm gonna keep it going with Michael Bennett, so I don't go into the whole Haloti Ngata signing, which is a great signing. But Michael Bennett is definitely a great signing because he'll bring that energy off the line for the amount of snaps that you're going to use him for. He'll be great at it. He'll be exactly what you want. Exactly what Chris Long was. You'll have somebody on the opposite end that'll come in with Chris Long and bring exactly what Chris Long was bringing. At the same age as probably Chris Long. And I mean, I would not look at Michael Bennett as a locker room problem because we have enough leaders and strong leaders that I do not believe that you're going to be able to come in here and change it. If anything, he's going to probably adopt it because it's too late in his career to really, think of him to be somebody like that just now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really spoke of him to be a locker room problem. And most of the time, Michael Bennett just really spoke with his mind. It wasn't really even problems. Like, so, I mean, there's always been players in the NFL that spoke from their heart, from their emotions, and spoke just true to how they felt about things, and that's should never be a problem as another man looking into another man's opinion. Let his opinion be his opinion. Like if you're not if as a man just respect another man's opinion. There's no reason to get emotionally wrapped up into how somebody view things because everyone's raised slightly different. We're all human beings, but we all raised somewhat differently, and it brings up what we think. But anyway, hold on to Haloti Nagda, which will bring a dynamic, strong push along the front. So whether he's out there with Tim Jernigan, whether he's out there with Michael Bennett, whether he's out there with Fletcher Cox, he will make sure that whoever's out there is not getting double teamed. They won't get double teamed really anyway because you have Brandon Graham, you have Vinny Curry, you got Chris Long, you got people coming off the edge and people coming in the middle. So there's really no need to think that anybody will be double teamed. But Haloti Nana is a true professional, all-pro player at one point with the Ravens, Pro Bowl player, at least I think 6 or 7 years, if not, but definitely a Pro Bowl player, Pro Bowl talent for sure. One of the best defensive tackles at some point in his career, one of the best tackles, the best tackles. If you had him on your front, you knew that you weren't going to have a running back go for 100 yards. And he brings a lot of leadership, a lot of understanding of the game. I do believe he's a champion too. So that's another great addition to the locker room. Strong players that know how to win. And if you're looking to go back, that's what you need. You need people prepared to take care of their bodies during the season and understand what it takes to get there and understand what they take when they get there. And the Eagles are doing a great job of not putting too much money out there, which they don't have a lot of doing. But you know how some teams become so aggressive with everybody else being aggressive that they find ways to clear cap space by releasing half of their roster just to do it. Or you see a team win the Super Bowl and become relaxed. And the Eagles have been very balanced of everything they've done so far, which I've been really impressed with Howie Roseman. I mean, for him to navigate the waters to a championship was a new experience for him, but to navigate the waters after a championship and to move the team forward after a championship and to be aggressive after a championship is all new waters to him still. So I'm just impressed at how he's handling it, and I can say no more than anybody else has probably said about Howie Roseman. But on to some other signings. I'm trying to remember if there's anybody else that you signed. I think it was cornerback Daryl Worley, but he came in the trade, which is another solid addition. I mean, I don't think he's a champion. No, but I do believe that he's a solid player. I've seen some of his tape. He's very competitive. He's not Josh Norman, but he's more like he plays technique pretty well. A lot of the cornerbacks that came up through the Panthers are products, and they believe in working hard. They are finding players through the draft that they want to build and groomed to be cornerbacks in the NFL. And that's why they let Josh Norman go, because they believed in the cornerbacks they had behind them. So, you know, him being added to the team is not really looking for anybody to be a great number one corner. You just need somebody to do their job as the defensive front wrecks the front lines, offensive lines, and the quarterbacks of the opposing team. You just need somebody to go out there and handle the job and do the job. Really, really play technique. Don't get penalties. Don't give up yards after the quarterback got smacked on the ground. Just do your job. That's really what it is. They re-signed Patrick Robinson, which is what I was speaking about, of retaining players that they had, which was an important addition because Patrick Robinson played pretty well. And considering he had a pretty I would say, shaded career. Nobody really talked about him. He played up there with some of the best cornerbacks in the league. And I mean, his position really changed over the season, and he adapted to it, and he just gave it his best. But I mean, that defensive front made it a lot easy for a lot of those cornerbacks. And I mean, I just expect the Eagles to use the best of the players that they had. I think that what really makes this so brilliant of the Eagles is that they won the Super Bowl, but they recognized they gave up too many points to the they gave up too many points to the Patriots, and they realized that the offense was able to maintain the game, but defense wasn't able to withstand the different things that Tom Brady was able to do on the field. So they went in and addressed the defense so that they'd be prepared. I mean, to prepare or to think that your team was good enough from last season, when every team is watching you play, game planning for you as you move throughout the postseason, you have to understand that there's no sitting on what you are and you the best, because that all changes. I mean, like from the best team in the NFL to the 10th best team is really only about that much. Like, it's really only about that much. They're only really missing a piece here or there, or a coach that can really come get a team to play together. It's really not that much of a difference. So when you think that your team wins the Super Bowl and you're supposed to go on the free agency and just chill, just take the players and re-sign them and you're good. Sometimes you got to understand that some players in that locker room get content with championships. They get content with that first ring. You can tell by the way they attack free agency. You can tell by the way that they pursue things, or how they go about the off season. Some people don't train. Some people go right into free agency and they're not looking to win again. So I mean, not necessarily not win again, but they want to be competitive, but they want to get paid as well. And even if the opportunity seems super, super promising there for them there, they will pursue the money. And I mean, I can't knock anybody for that, because you got to take care of your family, whatever may be the case. But at the end of the day, everybody's priorities change after that championship is won. And the true dogs of the sport, the true people that really want to win, that stays in them. That doesn't really change too much. I mean, they feel a little accomplished, more happy about what they've done in their career, but it doesn't really change the desire to be wanting to be great. Carson has as much motivation as any other player on that team to go back and win it. And I mean, if your quarterback feels that way about going back, I think the whole team has no choice but to follow the lead. It's really going to be amazing to see how they expect the Eagles not to be favorites next year, when you figure Carson Wentz was the leader of the team and he wasn't able to play in the Super Bowl, and then he goes out and has an opportunity to train and get himself ready when people don't think that he'll be able to do it. Like, this didn't just happen in North Dakota. It really just happened in North Dakota. A similar situation, maybe not a Super Bowl, but a championship was won when he was injured. And then he had the opportunity of going back out there and winning the championship once he was better. I think that situation in North Dakota State, and being able to watch the Super Bowl as he did at North Dakota State and watch his team move on and win it, is the same experience he's getting here. I think it's going to be really scary for teams next season, knowing that how he really adapts to the game, how he breaks it down, how he looks at the game, how he attacks the game, how he approaches the game, and how a player like that has extra motivation. If anybody remembers the video that he made after he left the hospital, I'm not even sure, but I'm pretty sure it had to be after he left the hospital. But he was making a video addressing the fan base about how he was going to be better than ever, and how he was going to attack this harder than anything he's ever attacked. You know what I'm saying? Because he was motivated and he believed in God, and he knew this wasn't the end, and he understood that there was a purpose in it. And I mean, at that point then, he realized there was a purpose. And if you realized at that moment that it was a purpose and that he was going to win a Super Bowl, just like it had happened for him at North Dakota State. He probably said that to himself when he had messed up his I think it was his arm he broke or his wrist. I'm not sure. I think it was either his arm or his wrist that he broke at North Dakota State. And so he's out with a sling on. Yep. Because I remember watching that John Gruden video. So he's out with a sling, and he's probably saying this is a test. This is to see where I'm gonna go with my career, to see what I'm gonna do after I've been knocked out and taken out of a sport that I love, and to see how I'm gonna adapt to having to do it a different way and approach the game a different way that I love. Probably learn something. And to go through this experience again would be a shot to anybody. But you see how he attacked it with that video? He said, "Nah, I've already been through this. And if I've learned anything from the last time, is that I'm not going to give up this time just because an injury changes my course on my MVP season. I see that I have a bright future and God is moving me in the right direction." And he took positive motivation out of that whole ACL, MCL, LCL injury. And I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of Nick Foles as well. So, just the fact that Carson was there, motivating his team, helping Nick Foles, getting next to him as they're going through the Super Bowl game, and just trying to talk through plays. It was just, you never see. I mean, in a Super Bowl, you never see. Why would you want your backup to win a Super Bowl for you? You would have never, ever, ever seen that before. Why would the backup starter, new franchise quarterback, want the backup to win the Super Bowl on his team? It was just amazing at that moment to see that he was just so unselfish, so outside of himself and about the team. And then you see how Nick Foles, sacrificed. It's just a true fact of that the Eagles really wanted to go after players that really loved the game, really had a passion for the team, and loved God. It's just amazing that they really collaborated a locker room that had that one goal, and it truly conveyed as many pieces falling off the team. And they just kept pushing forward because the team wasn't based on the talent. The team was based on the team believing in one thing. And no matter what the injury was or what tore out the player, each player that went down believed the one same thing that the player that came up believed. That this was meant to happen, and that they're going to be the best from it. Whether it be starting and playing on the field, or it be learning from this injury and coming back and being the best version of themselves after that injury. Whether it be Darren Sproles, whether it be Jason Peters, whether it be Carson Wentz, whether it be Jordan Hicks, that was the one goal. And I mean, I am impressed with the offseason. I'm impressed with the way these players are working hard to get back. And I'm impressed with the front office and Doug Peterson, not even moments after the Super Bowl, letting the team know that this ain't even the first time. We plan to be here every year. We're going to be the new Patriots. And he said that with confidence, and that locker room believed in him. And that front office believed in him. And they went out and showed that they believed in him by putting in work in and doing that. So, Eagles fans, you're about to see a dynasty in the making.